On today's show, I'm excited to be flying with British Airways in their premium long-haul cabin, an experience that can come with an eye-watering price tag of over £11,000. With that kind of investment, it's only natural to ask, what does this exclusive experience entail, what amenities set it apart, and ultimately, is it worth it? Join me as we uncover what BA's premium cabin truly delivers, exploring whether the experience and the service meet the elevated standards of high-end travel in 2024. Good morning and welcome to London Heathrow. Yes, I know it seems like I spend more time here than I do in my house. However, today I have a very good reason to be here. I'm flying with British Airways all the way down to Chicago in the United States, but I have the honour and privilege of doing it in first class. So let's go and check in. First class passengers get their own dedicated check-in area and security walkway, which is down at the eastern end of the terminal building, and it's known as the first wing. The first wing provides an exclusive elevated check-in experience designed specifically for first-class passengers and Gold Executive Club members. After checking in, you'll breeze through private security lanes and gain direct access to a dedicated walkway, seamlessly leading you straight to the lounges. The first lounge you'll encounter is called, well, First Lounge. It's a thoughtfully designed and named comfortable space, but it's just a prelude to the main event. Keep going and you'll arrive at BA's flagship lounge, the Concorde Room, offering a more luxurious wait for your flight. As you enter, you'll notice a concierge desk on the left-hand side where guests can reserve showers or book private rooms. So let's start our tour of the lounge here. The private rooms, known as cabanas, are designed as mini hotel-style spaces, offering a quiet escape for guests to work, relax, or freshen up in privacy. Although cabanas can only be booked for 90 minutes, room service is available, featuring the same menu as the lounge's main restaurant, allowing for a full dining experience without leaving the room. The rooms are thoughtfully appointed, though the bathroom area could be drastically improved in my opinion. Its very basic, almost clinical design contrasts somewhat with the otherwise more plush surroundings. Since it was breakfast time, it gave me the perfect opportunity to try the Concorde dining restaurant. Centrally located in the lounge, the restaurant offers a full a la carte menu, with each table set in a cosy booth layout that adds to a touch of privacy. The menu is impressively extensive, even for breakfast, though I was a little sceptical about the Marmite Martini. I ultimately went for the full English breakfast, purely for research purposes of course, and I wasn't disappointed. The food was fantastic. In true Englishman fashion, I made my way to the bar to pass the time. I opted for an espresso martini, definitely not the Marmite version. The lounge even has an outdoor terrace that's actually indoors, although it's another nice spot to eat or relax. As it got lighter, it offered a surprisingly good view over Terminal 5, making it an even more enjoyable place to unwind. Many people see the Concorde Room as somewhat dated and in need of a refresh. However, cabana bathrooms aside, I find it to be tastefully designed. A cosy, sophisticated space to relax in comfort. It's certainly a world apart from the hustle bustle of the terminal, jostling for the last prep breakfast brioche. But what are your thoughts on the Concorde Lounge? Let me know in the comments. Before we board, let's talk costs. The £11,000 price tag mentioned earlier is accurate, but it's for a one-way ticket, which is a staggering amount of money. Prices can vary based on timing and booking method. For example, a return ticket will lower the cost to around £4,800 each way. Booking a return flight well in advance can reduce it down even further to about £1,500 each way. And of course, Executive Club members can also use Avios for discounts on reward flights. But regardless of whether you're very wealthy with money to spare or someone who's saved diligently for a special treat, a premium experience is expected when flying in first class, which is why I was surprised by how British Airways and Heathrow managed today's boarding process. Certainly, some aircraft will inevitably be on remote stands, and departing from the A10 gates meant ours was. But as we were packed into a shuttle bus and then flung around the airfield, I couldn't help but think how far today's boarding experience is from, say, Lufthansa's private car service or Qatar's buses with armchairs. While it maybe doesn't need to be that extravagant, there must be ways to make the process feel more premium and personalised when a jet bridge isn't available. We did eventually make it to the aircraft, and here she is, a wonderful 3-year-old 787-10 Dreamliner, the biggest of the Dreamliner family. After a warm welcome from the crew, I turned left and quickly found my seat. With just 2 rows in first class, it was easy to locate my home for the next 8 or so hours. Seat 2K, an inviting private window suite. There's plenty of legroom and storage in and around this seat, including dedicated overhead compartments, meaning you'll always have somewhere to store your carry-on. Other storage spaces consist of a cabinet above the armrest containing a vanity mirror and a charging cubbyhole housing plug and USB sockets, though not for stowage apparently. Underneath the in-flight entertainment screen there's a convenient bin for stowing shoes. And finally, there's the mother of all coat hooks, complete with coat hanger. With everything stowed, I settled in comfortably, finding headphones and a blanket within reach. The cabin crew began the pre-takeoff ritual, offering each passenger loungewear, though on this daytime flight I likely won't need it. What I will use, however, is the Amenity kit and, of course, the welcome drink of my choice. As we pushed back, we were given warm towels to freshen up and a menu to choose our meal. British Airways crew mentioned that BA have actually changed their menu timings, meaning that any aircraft that takes off before 11:30 will be serving a brunch menu in first and business class, and a few people are not too happy about it. Now, I guess it's not a big deal unless you've eaten Eggs Benedict in the lounge and then you get on board expecting a lunch but are presented with poached eggs on toast. Now, I got the sense that the crew was managing expectations, as reading the menu before showed it was designed around brunch with very few lunch options. Of course, this is very trivial, if even a problem in the grand scheme of things, but it seems BA have not considered that by the time the crew serves everyone, it will be closer to lunchtime, making the lack of a lunch option an understandable point of frustration. This puts the crew in a difficult position, unable to fulfil everyone's obvious preference for the lunch dish, given the limited amount of each item loaded. Brunch was followed by an indulgent-looking afternoon tea, overflowing with tempting treats, which I was looking forward to later in the flight. Both meal services were complemented by an impressive wine list and a generous selection of alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks available from the bar. Shortly after takeoff, the flight attendant stopped by to take my meal order, offering snacks and a prompt champagne refill, just in time for me to settle in and get comfortable before brunch arrived. As I mentioned, the legroom in first class is impressive. Even stretching out, I couldn't reach the footstool. Fortunately, it adjusts to accommodate those of us who aren't quite so tall. Lunch/brunch was served with a marinated beetroot amuse-bouche, which was light, fresh and delicious, boding well for the rest of the meal. For the starter, I chose the lighter salmon option, which was beautifully presented and tasted just as good as its appearance suggested. The main course was the chicken Wellington, a more lunch-friendly choice that I was lucky to get considering its popularity. The flavours were fantastic, though the pastry was pretty soggy, but given it was a pre-prepared dish and served at 40,000 feet, the taste more than made up for it. The cabin crew knew exactly how to win me over, ensuring my wine glass was never empty, diligently topping it up the moment it ran low. To finish, I passed on the chocolate dessert but opted for the cheese board instead. By now the crew knew me all too well and thoughtfully paired it with a glass of port. Why not? Absolutely stuffed from all the food, it was time to kick back and explore the in-flight entertainment. The console in this cabin is a clear upgrade from other BA cabins, displayed on a generous and highly responsive 23-inch touchscreen. The moving map seemed a lot sleeker and packed with far more detail compared to that of the older systems. Remember those basic maps on my World Traveller flight from Abu Dhabi? This was worlds apart. In first class, BA provides a set of Meridian noise-cancelling headphones, which perform reasonably well. These connect via the USB cubbyhole, where you'll also find an integrated handset for controlling the in-flight entertainment system, or IFE. The handset is a versatile tool. Not only does it make navigating the IFE simple, but it also allows you to view entirely different content on the handset itself while keeping the main screen free for something else. It's perfect for checking maps whilst watching a film. Browsing through the IFE is seamless with the handset, offering access to an extensive selection of films, TV shows, music and games. The range is significantly broader than what's available on some of BA's other cabins or older aircraft. The IFE also doubles up as your onboard magazine, and while the product selection isn't exactly dazzling, there are a few things you can pick up, if you're in the mood to give British Airways a bit more of your money. There is also Wi-Fi and it's free for people flying in first class. Just register your seat and you'll be able to message and stream at no additional costs. As you all know, I'm not usually too bothered about showing the onboard toilets, but since we're in first, let's check and see if there are any big differences. The washroom is spotless and features some nice soap products, but beyond that, nothing really stands out. It's the same familiar space constraints, though it does have some mood lighting to set the tone, although I'm not sure what for. Now that I'm back at my seat and not planning to sleep on this daytime flight, let's take a quick look at the chair in bed mode. Using the smart jog dial located above the IFE handset, passengers can adjust the recline from fully upright to completely flat and can stop anywhere in between for that comfortable sweet spot. Even when fully flat, there's plenty of space. I still can't reach the seat in front. Whilst I have no need on today's flight, the crew are always more than happy to make up the bed should passengers request it. The jog dial now also controls extra features like adjusting the headrest and lumbar support, as well as a global lighting system that lets you customise both ambient and reading lights, all with just the press of a button and the twist of a dial. Alright then, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. No more suspense, let's dive straight into the Amenity kit. Oh, but before we do, let's quickly check out today's final bit of gadgetry, the tray table. Arguably the dullest, but undeniably one of the most essential features. With the press of a button, it smoothly pops out from under the armrests and unfolds to a generous size, ideal for both dining and getting some work done during the flight. Now back to the Amenity kit. At first glance the bag might not look like much, but once you open it it's absolutely packed with goodies. Tailored specifically for men or women, it includes all the essentials: socks, an eye mask, a toothbrush and yes, a pen. On top of that there are some luxurious Elemis products which are of course vital for keeping my youthful looks intact. With about 2 hours remaining in the flight, the cabin crew served afternoon tea to everyone. I opted for the selection of sandwiches and cakes, choosing to skip the scones. Both was extremely fresh and delicious, making them the perfect choice for those who preferred a lighter option earlier in the day. However, given that I had already indulged nearly everything offered, I probably didn't need another bite, but I couldn't resist. Our flight today left Heathrow's runway 27 left about 30 minutes late, and covering the 6,300 nautical miles in a flight time of 8 hours 11 minutes meant that we landed into O'Hare's runway 27 centre exactly on schedule. I've thoroughly enjoyed today's flight. British Airways, however, reminds me of that Marmite martini from the Concorde Room earlier. People seem to either love them or hate them. Personally, I have a soft spot for BA. Their in-flight service and catering are, in my opinion, some of the best in the industry. Ironically though, it was the food that fell short today. While the quality was very, very good, the menu options left a lot to be desired. Since filming, I've stumbled across this article suggesting that the issue isn't quite unique to my flight. When you add the underwhelming transfer from the lounge to the plane, it highlights a reoccurring theme. While BA operate at a very high standard, they often seem to hold themselves back. Whether it's inconsistency or a lack of going the extra mile, these issues will likely prevent them from being considered one of the very best. At least for now anyway. I am now actually curious to hear where you think BA's premium cabins rank compared to others, and if I'm being too harsh. Share your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to know what you think. That all said, and trivial issues aside, flying in first class today has been an incredible honour. It's an experience I've only had a couple of times, and it's a privilege I wish every person could experience. From start to finish, it's been incredibly memorable. I hope you've enjoyed coming along for the ride as much as I've enjoyed filming it for you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos on the channel. That's all for now. Stay safe and embrace the journey.